even down to the way that you encourage time off, that's probably good culture. And I don't, usually like saying something so like a blanket statement like this, but if you really want to continuously improve, I think it's tough to do that if you have a rotten engineering culture. And so I'm going to move it to Dana. When you were on the podcast, we talked a lot about trust and positivity. How does trust and positivity play into a continuous improvement culture in your mind?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, like, developers don't want to hear lip service that you're going to make it better for them. You have to do that. And like, so as you start making improvements and you start bringing out the friction and you show commitment to that, and you're not just pumping it out and burning out people, you're going to develop some trust. But I think it's a bi-directional highway. And right now it's like, how do we make decisions? How do we improve the system? I think you have to stop, look, and listen, and just really, and where positivity comes from that is like, I truly believe that anything is possible. Like, I think we have momentary moments where shit is terrible. And like, but for me, I always am like, and it's just my personality. I'm like, okay, that's terrible. Like, how are we gonna make it better? Like, I wouldn't have that moment. And I don't want to be like this I'd never be disingenuous about your excitement, right? Like, I'm just this person naturally that's just like, okay, this was the most terrible thing ever. I have bad moments. People be like, do you have bad days? I have bad days. But then I get to see the opportunities that we have. And like, I get grounded in my work because I love thinking about how to make people's lives better. That's all we're doing as leaders. How do we get to help make people's lives better? Because I could come back to it. They're showing up, giving a huge chunk to us. Like, I just feel so grateful and so honored for the people that work at GitHub and the people in my life that are giving me space and time to be with them. So I take it upon me to say, like, how can we make this experience awesome? Like, the world is completely unpredictable in some facets right now. How can at work be predictable? How can we have them show up and just say, like, I got to go and create and innovate and be excited about that? And I have a rule, like, when I'm in a total shitty attitude and mood, like, I don't show up. I will cancel meetings. I will say, you know what? I'm having a moment. Because if I come in and I'm having a bad day, that will color me unconsciously or sometimes consciously to make decisions maybe I wouldn't have if I wasn't like so down in the dumps. And I think it comes down to, like, as a leader, when you're having those moments, be authentic, be vulnerable, be like, I'm having a moment. And here's how I'm going to go get myself out of that moment and show that it almost like it's not a negative thing to not be okay. It's a positive thing to be not okay, and to share that and then talk about how we can make it better. But the trust comes from, you better make it better. Like, if you're going to ask for people to exhibit vulnerability and not have anything, now it's like, then you're just driving more anxiety. Like, I've been there myself. It's like, oh shit, like, was I overly vulnerable? Is it a confidence hit? And so it's this balance. And I think a big part of it is how you show up. We as leaders sometimes don't realize the invisible influence we have, because what do they say? Like, the worst person on your management team, that's the person that everybody thinks, like, that's the baseline for what people are going to do, right? That's like what they're going to do. And so I think we always have to push ourselves to say, are we creating the environment? And one of my things, like, be kind to your future self. Do the things right now that are going to help make you be better. And then also turn in effect and say, like, how are you doing this with the people? Because at the end of the day, all of these systems we're talking about are how to make people's lives fulfilled. Like, you get fulfillment out of building, making, and going to work, because that's how the world works in a lot of places. How do you play a part in it?
Amen.
Amazing. Yeah, very, very well said.